Let's start with Thursday Night Football. It's tonight, New Orleans Saints at the Los Angeles Rams. Rams favored by 4. As much of the NFC is 7-7. We're all 7-7.
A playoff team.
This is, I don't know the actual playoff leverage, but it's absolutely massive for both teams because the Saints are tied atop the NFC South at 7-7 with the Bucs. The Bucs have the tiebreaker at the moment. The Bucs and Saints will play each other next week. But if the Saints lose this game, there's no path to the wild card for them anyway. They have to win the division, and this will set them back pretty bad in the division race with 3 weeks to go. For the Rams, of course, they're 7-7 like other teams across the NFL, and there's just no margin for error for them to get into the playoffs at the moment. So this is a massive game, Thursday Night Football, as far as playoff leverage goes. The Rams currently, at the moment, the number 7 seed, and they're one of 5 7-7 teams in the NFC.
Would you like to know just how massive?
Yeah. Let's hear it.
PFF's Timo Riska has a weekly article on PFF.com that you can read, which shows the playoff leverage for each game.
Perfect.
And this game features the number 1 and number 2 highest leverage in this week. So each of these teams, the Rams have the highest leverage. They can have the biggest swing, essentially, in chances to make the postseason with a win versus a loss. And the second biggest swing is the New Orleans Saints. So this is the 2 highest leverage teams playing each other in a game.
This is must-see TV on a Thursday night.
There you go.
Like old school NBC, Thursday night must-see TV. Used to be Friends. Now it's Saints-Rams. This is what it is. I'm looking forward to it. As far as what we're going to see on the field, the Saints, they've had offensive line issues throughout the season. And they've got, last week had Andres Pete playing left tackle, Landon Young making his first start at right tackle. I'm going to be watching that pass rush situation. I know you liked Rams edge rusher Byron Young a little bit coming out. He's had a pretty nice season. He is very athletic, not a dominant one-on-one rusher, but that guy that tracks down quarterbacks with a lot of speed and cleans things up. But he can win a little bit. He's got some impressive wins this year against certain tackles. Of course, Aaron Donald on the interior. Can the Rams create enough pressure to mess with Derek Carr in the Saints offense?
By the way, the actual leverage numbers are worth stating.
It's probably in the 80s.
So the Rams, if they win, have a 66% chance of making the playoffs. If they lose, that drops to 12%. You don't get much wider than that, right?
In a one-game sample in Week 15 or 16. Sorry, with 3 weeks left here.
The Saints, if they win, have a 72% chance of making the playoffs. So they basically go to 3/4 of a shot if they win the game. If they lose, that drops to 23%. So they go from 3/4 making it to 1/4 making it with a win versus a loss.
Yeah, and I may have misspoken a little bit earlier. Like the Saints aren't they can win the wild card because everybody's 7-7. So technically they can. But if you're not good enough to win the division, where the records are the same, it's going to be tough to do. It's tough to do both, right? It's going to be very difficult for the NFC South to have a wild card team because they have to play each other. So yeah, a lot on the line here. What else are you looking for in this game here?
I'm curious if Derek Carr has another game where he actually looks like he gets these weird games where he looks like he's in the zone and suddenly the ball is where he actually wants it to go and not random. And he had one of those against the Giants where he looked really good, completed over 80% of his passes. His adjusted completion rate was almost 90%. And it's like if you got that all the way through the year, that's kind of what they thought they were signing up for, right? And it hasn't been. It's been way more inconsistent than that, even with factoring in their receiving injuries and all those kinds of things. But if you get that version of Derek Carr, the Saints are a playoff team and not one to be taken lightly given what they can bring to the table. It's
interesting that both of these teams landed at 7-7 when for me the perception is completely different. I'm surprised and optimistic about how the Rams have landed here with their super young team. And Matthew Stafford, really, this could be his best season, throw for throw. I think 2021, the Super Bowl winning season, still is, including how he played in the biggest moments. But this is number 2 in Stafford's career. This is an unbelievable job by him in the youth movement on both sides of the ball for the Rams. I'm feeling great about their 7-7, and I'm feeling sad about the Saints 7-7. I mean, the Saints have, like the other NFC South teams, one of the easiest schedules in the NFL this year. which is one of the reasons why I thought the Saints could stumble into 10 wins this year. And they're sitting here at 7-7 and disappointing. And every time it looked like they may have turned a corner, they didn't really do it. Jimmy Graham, though, red zone, unlocking it, So I think it's going to be an entertaining game. Again, Stafford against a tough Saints defense that plays pretty well in the back end. Cooper Kupp's looking like himself over these last couple weeks, him and Puka Nacua as a 1-2 punch. I think the last 3 or 4 weeks is the first time we've really seen that come together. So I'm looking forward to this game today.
And that matchup's going to be fun. The aggressiveness, the physicality of New Orleans defensive backs against those wide receivers, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, for the Rams, and how that matchup goes will be fascinating because, certainly Cooper Kupp, it's not like he can't deal with press coverage or anything like that, but his sort of the connection that he has with Stafford is built on precision and timing, and one way to try and disrupt that is to get physical and try and ruin the timing that way.
All right, man. One other thing is Kyren Williams, the on-off splits for Kyren Williams and the without breakdown of Kyren Williams is just ridiculous. This run game has been extremely effective with Williams back there at running back, and when he disappeared, when he was hurt, when he wasn't there, they were not effective. I mean, they are a completely different offense with Kyren Williams. I mean, he's Marshall Faulk now. Yeah. He's Marshall Faulk for the Rams.
Okay.
So just something to keep an eye on right there. All right, man. It is the Rams favored by 4 in this game. Where are you going with this one?
Saints.
Going with the Saints, huh?
Yep.
All right. I was thinking this would be closer to a pick'em. It really was. I thought it'd be a lot closer. Because the Rams, it's not really a home field advantage for the Rams. So I thought it'd be closer to a pick'em. So I think I'm going to go Saints because of that. But if it was a pick'em, I'd take the Rams. I think the Rams are going to win.
Moderate rain.
It's a close game. Moderate rain in the dome.
Apparently.
I mean, there's
also in Los Angeles.
It's the dome that's open.
Yeah,
on the
at
sides.
But it's in like a depression. It's in like a bowl at the bottom of the thing. But also, moderate rain in Los Angeles. What's happening?
I don't know. That's
World's
serious.
gone to hell.
That is serious. It's very serious. All right, we're both taking the Saints here.
We need a wellness check.
I don't love it. I don't like ever betting on the Saints.
We need a wellness check on the late Austin Gale. Rain in Los Angeles.
Yeah, is he going to be okay? He hated the rain over here in Cincinnati.